Piracy is a global scourge in the arts and entertainment industry, and Nigeria is no exception. Koye Shotade, Channels TV Entertainment News Editor, joins me now to take a look at these issues. Good morning, Koye, and thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, Harriet. It's good to be here.
How large is the business of piracy in Nigeria?
Piracy is massive. During the election campaigns, it was a major issue with each of the presidential candidates. They were taking up on it during their presidential candidates' debates. Especially the president, Goodluck Jonathan, explains that it will have to be a change in the policy, the judicial policy that can help with the piracy in Nigeria. But General Buhari was a little bit subtle on it, asked Governor Fashola to handle that because that's his area, meaning that he believes also that it's a judicial matter. The fact is that piracy seems to be here in Nigeria to stay. And it's an unfortunate situation that if it's not curbed by the judiciary, nothing will happen. Piracy will continue to grow.
But is the war against piracy being won? As large as it seems, and from what you've said, it seems to have eaten deep into the system. Is it being won in any way?
It's not. Because the other day, Kunle Afolayan was talking about buying his own film, October 1, off the street. Somebody was trying to sell him his own film on the street. And he hasn't even gone on DVD yet. The film was still at the cinema. Yeah, so he hasn't made 1 naira from the film as a DVD, but it's already on sale as a DVD. You can imagine the scale. Now, if Nigeria is making an average of 2,400 films a year.
That's equals to how much?
Let's say an average of, say, 250 naira per film.
Per film.
Per film. You can tell how much goes to the pirates, because it's not all these films that hit the market immediately for the DVD sales, but the piracy is not, let's be honest, is not limited to the pirates themselves grabbing a copy of a film and making it. We've heard of industry people, directors and filmmakers, going to the pirates to pirate their films so that they can make some extra money that is not taxable, that is not, that wouldn't be accounted for, and to block, they say, the pirates from pirating the films.
But Koye, this is just like a handful. A lot of other people who benefit from these movies, or even the music industry. We're talking about the producers, we're talking about the artists, we're talking about basically even the marketers, even the financiers themselves are all at the short end of the stick. So why is it that these people, these individuals who are on the short end of the sticks are not making, yes, they seem to be making efforts, but what's going on? Who is supposed to be helping these affected individuals get their right dues?
One, the police. It is reported that the police do some raids. They go to the marketers. I don't want to mention it, but we have a footage which we use on entertainment news where the on the street traders said they get their supplies from Alaba in Lagos. They do some raids, but it's not enough.
So what about the agencies who are responsible for ensuring that, look, you can't curb piracy as much as we want to do
it? It's a global thing.
Yes, but how can it be reduced? And so what are the agencies who are responsible for ensuring that, this is actually reduced doing?
They need to step up. Hopefully, like Governor Fashola was answering, like I said before, on behalf of General Buhari, that they will step up laws to ensure, but it still rests on the police enforcing this law, that you can't go on in the traffic and sell these things. And I just said something that Kunle Afolayan also said when he was buying his own film. He seized it. He took the film from the vendor. He took the film from the vendor and said, look, I am not paying for my own film.
So in terms of payment now, how much does piracy affect government revenue? You mentioned the fact that there are some of these producers who go behind and work with these pirates to try to see how they can make money, extra money without paying taxes. So let's quantify it. How much does it affect government revenue? Put a figure to it, if you can. Put a figure.
I would say it will go into about $500 billion naira. $500 billion naira, because this thing is deep. We said that with the producers themselves, it's a small group of producers that go to the pirates themselves and hand their works to them to pirate. But the pirates themselves actually make more money because they sell these things for little or nothing. I think
the taxes are not remitted to the government.
Yes. It's about between 250 naira, to, Bidemi Dairo of our entertainment text was saying that he was going to buy one copy for 150. He was negotiating 150. Is that low? So they sell massive amounts, which you were asking me to put a figure to it, and I can't, because there is no way we can account for how much they sell. But we just know that in every traffic that you go now, watch out, today as you go about.
That's another area.
October 1 or 30 Days in Atlanta or any of these films, you'll find them to buy today in the traffic.
And that's another area that needs to be plugged, because we're talking about leakages and we're talking about generating more revenue for the government.
Other than oil.
Other than oil. So if we're looking at a very, massive sector like the arts and entertainment, as well as, the creative and the rest of it, contributing as much as 1.50% to GDP post-rebasing, it begs to reason that we should have more money coming in, not just for the government, but also for the practitioners as well.
Yes, that is, the government recognizes it. It's just for the government now to move and block the leakage, as you put it, the leakage of their revenue. Because we're talking about revenue for the government as well as for the producers themselves. So if the government wants to make money, they've got to find a machinery to put in place where they will block the leakages of making money of this industry.
But do you think there's a cartel in this
Oh, definitely.
Industry? But can it be stopped?
Definitely. It can't be stopped, but it can be curbed. That's all we ask. It's a global phenomenon. Everybody knows. We don't want to mention countries and everything, but it's a global phenomenon. But what we can do is to curb it.
How?
For instance, if you go to the States, or go to England, for example, you won't find pirated copies of films in Belgravia, Chelsea and Kensington, and places like that. You won't find, pirated copies. You always find it in, what we call poor areas, where people can't afford to buy the real original copies and the pay for. Let's try and enforce this thing so that when you go on the streets of, say, Victoria Island and places like that, you can't find pirated copies to buy. You have to go into, I won't mention areas again, of Lagos, deep down inside, underground, to be able to buy that. They will limit it. That is one way of curbing the situation and not complete. We can't eliminate it. It will still be there. It's in the States, it's in England, it's in the UK, it's everywhere. We can't stop it, but we can curb it.
So in terms of, we have a new administration coming in May and the rest of it. And I know that this is one of the many issues they're going to be looking at because everybody, including the entertainment industry, seem to have been setting agenda. But you've been on the streets, you've talked to folks in the industry. What are their expectations from this incoming administration?
They are seriously. I keep on giving example of Kune because his own case was just very, very recent, especially with his Twitter remarks. Their expectations are high. They are crying. They are really crying out because for someone who hasn't even gone to DVD and someone was trying to sell his DVD to him in the traffic, it's a major issue in terms of he recouping the money that he's invested in the thing. The government should not only think about, let's say the government should be selfish. Think about the revenue they're going to make from this thing and say, look, we're going to block this leakage. We're going to make, we're going to generate this amount of money, put a sum to it at the end of each fiscal year from entertainment. And then then talk about these entertainment people who are crying.
Thank you so much, Koye, for your time.
I'm glad I could be here.
We're back after this. Please join us again.